ancient song, a flute in my hand where the echoes belong, with whispers of rivers and mountains so tall. The Cherokee outlaw, I answer the call. Gospel truth in a melody spin, laughs and lessons where faith begins. Come on down to the outlaw side, where the spirit sings and the jokes collide. Inspiration flows like a mountain stream. The Cherokee outlaw, where truth meets stream. The flute cries low like a hawk on the wing. Stories of Christ in the songs I sing. A chuckle of thought, a prayer to ignite, balancing shadows with beams of light. Faith and laughter, a curious blend. Music that heals, beginning to end. Come on down to the outlaw side, where the spirit sings and the jokes collide. Inspiration flows like a mountain stream. The Cherokee outlaw, where truth meets stream. The flute cries low like a hawk on the wing. Stories of Christ in the songs I sing. A chuckle of thought, a prayer to ignite, balancing shadows with beams of light. Faith and laughter, a curious blend. Music that heals, beginning to end. Come on down to the outlaw side, where the spirit sings and the jokes collide. Inspiration flows like a mountain stream. The Cherokee outlaw, where truth meets dream.
Oh, CO. Oh, CO. Hold on here. I'm trying to get some things adjusted. Welcome to Cherokee Outlaw going live. Yeah. Hold on. This thing got the flopping around over here, bugging me. Yeah. Well, whatever. What? Talking about clowns? I'm a clown. All right. All right. I hope that you got your Bibles handy. You know, you can check out some references and stuff that is mentioned in the video that I am going to share with you. As put out by Grace Digital. I believe that's right. But anyway, this may be the reason why America is missing from the Bible. I got my handy sword, my word, the book of heaven, the Bible right here. Now I use different versions, you know, depending on the audience I'm reaching, you know, because sometimes, see, one thing is, you know, I see the problems that people have with Old English. I love it, but at the same time, I don't speak it. It can be poetic, right? But yeah, you know, that's just a thing. No one can understand Old English. Well, some people might, but that's another story for another time. Okay. All right, we wanted to look into some reasons why it may be that America is not in the Bible, or as one fellow said, America. Okay, now I might pause the video. Okay, I might pause the video um, every now and then, you know, to share some insights and thoughts and stuff, and I hope that you do too. Feel free to do so. And remember, if you do have any prayer requests, please feel free to put it in the chat or in the comments down below, okay? All right, now let's get this show on the road. All right, let's get this thing started. I talked long enough. Now I ain't feeling good. I do hurt. You think, well, you don't look it. Well, trust me, it hurts over my uh, left side. I don't know. Maybe some fluid or something's building up under. It's not blood, but it causes a lot of pain, whatever it is. So yeah, that's one reason why I might not keep this up too long, because I hurt. Uh, Plus, with everything else that's going on here, with the animals and other chores and stuff here on the old homestead. All right, let's get this going. All right.
Destiny of America in the Bible. As I look at the prophetic puzzle, there's one piece I just can't find. America. These are the 4 shocking theories that could explain it, and the last one might give you real hope. Theory 1. America is destroyed in a nuclear event. We can point to Russia in Ezekiel. We can see China in the kings of the East. We have a solid case for Israel, Iran, and even a revived Roman Empire. But the reigning superpower of the modern world? Silent. Nowhere. Missing. So the question is, why does America disappear from the end times? Let's start with the one no one wants to hear. America disappears because it is decimated, possibly in a nuclear war. Yes, it sounds extreme. But have you read the judgments in Revelation? And the third part of the earth was burned up. Revelation 8:7. That's not symbolic. That's devastation. Now let's bring this into reality. Right now, over 17,000 nuclear weapons exist on the planet. One bomb, one launch, and a nation could be wiped out in an hour. All it would take is one moment, and the global power structure would collapse. Could one act of war be enough to remove America from the end times narrative? Theory number 2, America simply declines and fades.
Well, they do bring out some points here. Like this first one, where it could be nuclear exchange, nuclear bombs, dirty bombs, or any type of event, biological stuff, anything. But wars will happen. They will come and they will go. And we know that nukes are very devastating. We know this. Will this country eventually get nuked? I don't have no doubts about that. But I can't say tomorrow, and next week, next month, next year. I don't know. Neither of us knows. But it's something to think about, right? So let's look at reason number 2. All right. Let's take it, now, right now we're looking at reasons why America, on the one scale, will just be, logically could, on these first few reasons why America is just plainly missing from the Bible. We're just looking into this now, but have your own thoughts and comments. Don't be afraid. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's get this going.
This theory is a little more gradual, but no less sobering. America disappears not because of war, but because of weakness. Every empire in history has had its rise and its fall. Let's look at some of them. Babylon ruled 86 years. Persia ruled 208 years. Greece ruled 268 years. Rome lasted almost 600 years. The British
Hold on. Something's not right. Something ain't right. Trying to get this thing set. I apologize. I should have got this thing set right in the first place. Alright. That I do. I apologize. Here we go.
British Empire reigned for 250 years. America? We're already past 245 years. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Proverbs 14:34. And let's be honest, America is not heading upward. We are morally divided. We are spiritually dry. We are economically unstable.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Truth is truth. You know, no matter how you look at it, how you dress it up, it's the truth, right? Yeah.
We are politically fractured. Could we turn around? Yes. Will we? That's the question. But if not, this theory says America doesn't get destroyed. It just fades into irrelevance before the final days begin. Sometimes the most dangerous fall is the quiet one, where the world forgets your name. From rise to rot to ruin. What if the reason America is missing from Revelation is because it simply doesn't matter anymore? Theory 3. The Babylon Theory. What if I told you that the entire future of humanity comes down to a choice between two women? Not literal women, but two cities that represent everything you could ever choose. Revelation chapters 17 to 18 concerns the very end, the climax of human history.
Yes. Now you got to listen to this. It's logical and factual on the reasons that they give. Okay? It is a fact. You need to look in the Old Testament, in the book of Daniel, but you also need to look in the New Testament. What did Jesus say? What does Revelation, the book of Revelations, say? So remember, before you argue, don't comment on, unless you first hear the facts as it relates to, especially in the Bible and also in the biblical history on prophecies and different countries and things like this, So you need to look what is there before speaking up. Now, if you already know, then, well, but the thing is I'm trying to encourage others to think, and to look for themselves, to think for themselves. Each one of us do. Now, am I the answer man? No, I am not. But I do know one thing. The book of heaven has all the answers. So, all right, let's get this going.
The remainder of Revelation is dominated by two female figures, one a filthy prostitute and the other a pure bride. The ultimate contrast, the final choice. Neither is a person, both are personifications. They represent cities, symbols with eternal significance. The title, A Tale of Two Cities, could be used. Babylon and Jerusalem, the city of man and the city of God, are their names. One represents everything wrong with this world, the other represents everything right about the next. We'll look at the former, and what we discover will shock you. Babylon the Great. That's the specific title Revelation uses. Not just Babylon, but Babylon the Great. This suggests something far beyond the ancient city.
Okay, he mentions that. Let's dive in right real quick. Let me get my old speckaroonies on, and let's see what we got here. All right, looking in the book of Revelations. All right, righty. On the 17th chapter. Now, mind you, to save on time, I am not going to be coming up. I'm not going to be going through the whole chapter reading it. Okay, you got your Bible, read it. But anyway, I'm gonna start reading this. This is out of the New King James. Okay. All right. Let's see. Chapter 17. Starting at verse 1. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk, and the wine of her fornication. Now, it really requires you to keep, when you're in your quiet time at home or wherever, to read it and read it over again. Think about each word. That's important. Think about what you're reading, what you're hearing here on this video and here and in the book of heaven, okay? Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, this ain't talking about Rome, like the Roman Catholic Church. No, it isn't. People get it confused, which I do understand that, and I do understand there's preachers that will teach that, but people will pick up what they're being taught. But you have a mind, you think, you read, and what you hear in this video that I am sharing and what I'm reading here, use your mind, think, okay? Read it for yourself and think about it and pray about it, okay? And let's see here. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornications. And on her head a name was written, Mystery, mystery meaning secret, and that is in the Greek, the word, I can't pronounce it, but the Greek word, but it means, the mystery, which it's translated in English, it really means secret. Hushity hush. Yeah, mystery. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. Verse 7, and the angel said to me, why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has 7 heads and the 10 horns. All right, now we will skip. I'm going to skip down. Read that whole chapter, chapter 17, okay? Now, chapter 18, verse 1, after these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, unless you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has mix double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously. I can't get that word pronounced right, but yeah, okay. It's a simple word. I know how to pronounce it, but I got an excuse. I'm old and I'm hurting. Luxuriously, in the same measure, give her torment and sorrow, for she says in her heart, I sit as queen and am no widow, and will not see sorrow. Therefore her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. Please excuse me. Oh, that hurt. Oh, sorry. All right. Verse 9. The kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they saw the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. Now, mind you, these people are ones who've been doing business with her. Not the other way around, okay? But with doing business, all these other countries doing business with her, okay? Trade and all that kind of stuff. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. I'll skip on down, but you read it, okay? Read it for yourself. Read that whole chapter. Let's see. Okay, well, let's pick up on verse 14. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you. All the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find no find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? And what does it say on the last part of verse 19? For in 1 hour she is made desolate. And verse 20, Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. But read that whole chapter, okay? Those chapters 17 and 18. Like I said, well, I'm not trying to keep you real long or anything because I hurt. Okay, let me get these things off. But all right, let's continue on with the video.
Mystery Babylon. The word mystery indicates a hidden identity that would be revealed in time. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Babylon of Revelation controls global commerce. Ships from every nation bring merchandise to its ports. The whole world becomes dependent on its consumer spending. Its cultural influence makes all nations drunk with its values. It sits on many waters representing peoples and nations flowing to it from around the world. It has unprecedented military power that makes other nations afraid to challenge it. It becomes proud, saying, I sit as a queen and will see no sorrow. Ancient Babylon. None of these characteristics fit. But there's a nation today that matches every single detail with frightening precision. The same biblical principle that allows David to be a type of Christ and ancient Israel to be a type of spiritual Israel allows ancient Babylon to be a type of something much greater, an end-times global system that would dwarf everything that came before. And here's what will amaze you. When you start comparing biblical prophecy to modern America, the parallels aren't just similar, they're identical. It's as if the Apostle John was looking 2,000 years into the future and describing the United States of America in perfect detail. Now that we understand we're looking for an end-times Babylon that's different from the ancient city, let's examine the 7 reasons why America perfectly fits this prophetic description. And the first reason will shock you with its precision. Reason number 1. Unrivaled commercial empire. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. This is Revelation 18:3, 4:30 a.m., Tokyo time. Lehman Brothers has just collapsed in New York, but watch what happens next.
Let's see here. I'm trying to. Let's see here. Brother says, America isn't missing. It's in the Bible. It's called Eden, and it was destroyed in a flood. Oh, each one has a different view on that. But you got to look at facts, my dear friend, my dear brother. You got to really look at facts. Well, that's looking at something else, but that's we're talking about like for example in prophecy. Eden has nothing to do with biblical prophecy. So now I know you have your view on that. I have a different one, but I'm not going to get into about Eden. Otherwise, we'll be over here having a long time on here, and I'd love to. But I've been hurting real bad, brother. I don't know what's been going on, but some fluid or something's building up, and it's up around by my ribs, and I tell you, it hurts. That hurts like a Dickens. um, but I'm trying to, I'm trying to grin and bear it. All right, but all right, hold on. Let's see what else they got to say on this, and uh, share thoughts on it.
Within hours, stock markets from London to Hong Kong are crashing. Banks in Germany freeze lending. Factories in China start laying off workers. A single American financial crisis triggers global economic chaos affecting every continent on Earth. But here's what makes this prophecy remarkable. It's not describing what Babylon sells to the world. It's describing what the world sells to Babylon. Listen to this carefully. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, every kind of citron wood, every kind of object of ivory, every kind of object of most precious wood, bronze, iron, and marble, and cinnamon and incense, fragrant oil and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and bodies and souls of men. This isn't a nation that conquers the world through military force and takes tribute. This is a nation that consumes so much that the entire world economy depends on feeding its appetite. And here's the shocking part. The United States runs a trade deficit of over $800 billion annually. That means America buys $800 billion more from the world than it sells back. The entire global economy depends on American consumers buying products made in other countries. But how does America afford to buy so much more than it produces? Here's the key that unlocks everything. In 1944, at the Bretton Woods Conference, the world agreed to make the US dollar the global reserve currency. Every major commodity, oil, gold, wheat, steel, is priced in dollars. Every central bank holds dollars as their primary reserve. This gives America an incredible advantage. When America needs to pay for imports, it simply creates dollars out of thin air. And because the dollar is the world's money, other nations have to accept it. It's the most ingenious economic system in human history. America can consume the world's products and pay with currency it creates at will. But there's something even more remarkable about this prophecy. Ancient Babylon controlled regional trade routes through military conquest. America controls the entire global financial system itself. When American consumers stop buying, Chinese factories shut down. When American interest rates change, capital flows worldwide reverse. When American markets crash, the entire world feels the impact within hours. This has never existed before in human history. Never has one nation's consumption been so critical to global prosperity that the whole world would weep and mourn if that consumption suddenly stopped. But America's commercial dominance is just the beginning. The second reason America matches biblical Babylon involves something the ancient world never could have imagined. Reason number 2, global cultural influence. With whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. In biblical times, when someone was made drunk with wine, they became irrational, unstable, unable to think clearly.
True. True, true, true.
They would abandon their normal behavior and act in ways that went against their own interests. And that's exactly what's happened to nations under American cultural influence. Nations abandon their traditional values to embrace American secular ideologies that are destroying their own societies. This isn't rational behavior. This is the behavior of nations that have been made drunk with American cultural influence. Let me show you how deep this goes. Hollywood controls 65% of the global box office. American movies aren't just entertainment, they're cultural programming, teaching the world how to think, what to value, how to behave. The Prime Minister of Greece studied at Harvard. The President of Taiwan earned her PhD from Cornell. Central bank governors around the world are American-trained economists. America shapes global leadership by shaping global education. And here's the most remarkable part of this cultural influence. Traditional societies that have maintained their values for thousands of years are abandoning them within a single generation of exposure to American media. Family structures that survived war, famine, and foreign conquest crumble under the influence of American entertainment. They become intoxicated with American culture and make decisions that destroy their own societies. But cultural influence requires a delivery system. And that brings us to America's third biblical characteristic, one that ancient Babylon could never have achieved, but America dominates completely.
Now, this is something that, oh, excuse me, where one should listen to what is being said here, okay? Think about it, and now, after he gets on this one point he's driving at here, I think I'm probably going to have to go ahead and cut this live off because I'm in a lot of pain right now, okay? All right, let's get this going, all right? Wherever that is, right there.
Reason number 3. Maritime Commercial Empire. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who travel by ship, sailors, and as many as trade on the sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like this great city? They threw dust on their heads and cried out, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Notice the focus on ships, sailors, and sea trade. This isn't describing a landlocked ancient city. This is describing a maritime commercial empire whose destruction affects everyone involved in ocean commerce. When container ships can't reach American ports, global supply chains collapse. When American consumers stop buying, shipping companies go bankrupt. When America's economy fails, maritime trade worldwide shuts down. No other nation in history has matched this description. Ancient Rome conquered by land. The British Empire extracted resources from colonies. Only America has created a maritime commercial system where the whole world becomes rich by selling to it. But maritime power is just infrastructure. What really makes America match biblical Babylon is how it uses that power. And that brings us to the fourth reason. Reason number 4. Luxury and excessive wealth. In the measure that...
Okay, now he's talking about there on the luxury and the wealth is, I read that to you out of Revelations. All right, now I apologize that I have to end this now because I hurt, but I wanted to do this once. I promised I would, and I believe in keeping my promises if it's possible. If I don't keep my promise, it's not that I won't keep the promise. It just gets delayed a little bit longer down the line because of different unfortunate things like, well, for one, pain and family matters, and things got to be done around the homestead, and it's kind of rough when you're hurt, especially when you're up in your years, and what have you. But I want to say, look up Revelations and check it out, and read the whole book of Daniel. All right, in the Old Testament, and with the facts that you've already heard, there's a lot more that you can present here, but like I said, I am hurting, but I would appreciate your thoughts. Share your thoughts. If we agree or if we disagree, don't matter. Just go ahead and share them. Okay? I still love you anyway. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I'm not one of these fellows that claim that I have all the answers, because I don't. There's only one who has all the answers. Can you say aho? Amen? Right? Yeah, only one. Alright, so you take care, alright? Now remember, remember me in your prayers, okay? And we'll see about getting this show on the road another time. All right, but you take care.
I'm riding the winds of an ancient song, a flute in my hand.
Later, everyone. I hope.
With whispers of rivers and mountains so tall.